Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. Well, I trust it. Bubbles. Whew. Let's try this again. Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. Well, I trust everyone's had a great Christmas and a happy New Year. I thought we'd start the year off right, and that is about being honest. As many of you know, I've been doing reviews on Hygger Products for a long time. Some people have been asking me, how are these products holding up, and would you still recommend them? Well, sorry to tell you, a lot of the products that I did review just didn't hold up. I've since taken them down off my site as I no longer stand behind some of their products. Some of them are great products and would still highly recommend. Hygger is sponsoring me. This could cost me my sponsorship, but I think being truthful is probably the most important thing. So let's start off with what I do like. Hygger makes good quality lights. Um, you know, they're affordable. In Canada, on Amazon, we don't get all the lights, but I've got three different types. I'll show you the lights, that being the programmable light, the 24/7 light, and the clip-on lights. As far as the 24/7 light, I highly recommend this light. I think it's a great value light. It's easy to work. The programming is simple. As far as the programmable light, the light is great. I find the buttons overly sensitive, and you brush up against them. And to be totally honest, reprogramming them is not the easiest and is a bit of a pain in the butt. So if I was to get another Hygger light, it definitely would be the 24/7 variety. They both grow plants well. You can control the brightness, and I would recommend it. Let's go on to some of their other products. Some companies should stick to just doing a few products, and I believe Hygger should do that. I do love their sponge filters. I have many of them. I continuously use them. I do wish they were a little bit bigger, more surface area. Well, the more it can handle, right? I love how easy it is to take the filter out without taking the whole system out of your tank. I love that it's a setup in which you've got biological and mechanical filtration. It's just a nice dual sponge filter. I would not waste my money on the single filter. And why I wouldn't recommend is a single one. There's just not going to be enough surface area. You add these. The whole idea with the sponge filter is as much surface area as possible. And with the single, it's just not big enough. We're talking about filters. This is one of my favorite. I wish they'd make some modifications to it. The Hygger Power Head. Now, unless you have really small fish, I wouldn't even bother with this. It's just going to clog up. If you have small fish, by all means, put their filter in it and then change it to another filter media, because it will clog up and you'll have to replace it pretty quickly. Being this is in a goldfish tank, I don't have to worry about any of these getting sucked in. Again, good for larger fish. Definitely not for your small ones, unless you're going to put the filter in there. But the main problem I have with this is it's just under filtered. If they increased the size of this by about 2 or 3 times, it would make an awesome internal filter, because it's pulling from all this whole area here. And I've got this one's currently supercharged. it gives you, you know, some filter media, not enough. I've got sponges in there now. They also give you some bioball type media. It's just not big enough. So I jam this with as much as I can, and I find it filters way more in a larger tank. Now, again, if I was doing this in an ordinary tank, I would have the nice coarse there filter the media there. It's going to be less work for you, but I do really like this. I recommend it. I have 5 of them, so that tells you something. I do like them. And again, you know, this company was sponsoring me, or is sponsoring me, or was, depending on how much they dislike this video. I got to test a lot of the products, so I know what is good and what's not. And this is a good product, just needs to be fine-tuned a bit and made a bit bigger. When it comes to this little baby, I like it. It's just way too small. The sponge on this is definitely too small for it. It doesn't do enough with just this portion being the sponge. It needs to be about 3 times the size of it. It's great for a 5, maybe a 10-gallon at best. I use it in my 10-gallon shrimp tank. I do have a hang on the back filter by Hygger. It's the biggest one they have, and unfortunately it's just way too small. And you can't even really supercharge this type of filter just the way they've set it up. The media they have is great, but I would like to beef it up, and you really can't just with the design they have of it. I wouldn't mind if it was like 4 or 5 times the size that it is. Then it would be great, and I would highly recommend it. But being the size that it is now, it'd be best for, about a 10-gallon at best. No more than that. Now, I'm not going to go through all the products I've tested for Hygger. I've tested a lot, and not all that I've done reviews on, to be honest. I've done the review on the magnet cleaner. I do like it. If you're going to get one, get the larger one. If you got a tank over 30 gallons, it's that much stronger, and it's going to be less work for you. And you can alternate it into any tank that way if you get the larger one. Just a little bit of advice. And I do like it. It's bigger than the, it's better than the very expensive ones. Just a little advice out there. Now, you remember when I was saying the company should stick to just a few things that they do excellent? One of them is their cleaning kits. They are top notch. They've improved them since, I've got 2 sets. Actually 3. And they're constantly improving them. They're obviously listening to the consumer, and that's very important. I would highly recommend getting their cleaning kits. They've got everything in it that you'll ever need, along with their aquascaping tools. I find them great. I use them all the time and would still highly recommend it. Now let's get to a few things I would not recommend. First is their digital thermometer. I got 3 of these. All 3 stopped within 1 month. So I bought new batteries and a better battery. Well, about a month and a half, and all 3 stopped working. Not only do I find them inferior, any of these digital thermometers that stick to the external portion of your tank don't really give you a true reading. Being that, one, it's the exterior, right? The interior is the part that's heated. So there's going to be a few degrees difference from the outside of the glass to from the inside, especially when you're dealing with heated tanks and cold cellars like mine, where there could be as many as 10 degrees Fahrenheit difference or more. So what I did is I just bought a whole pack of these probe digital ones for about the same price as this. I got a whole, well, I got 10 of them. These have 2 batteries. This has 1. These I've left outside and they're still working. I use them inside. With a probe, I can get a better, truer reading. Sure, they're not the best looking in the world, but what are you using it for? You're using it to gauge the temperature. And you're probably going to remove it or set it off to the side. Yes, this one had an alarm, but the audible portion, well, you'd have to have supersonic hearing to hear it from any distance. Yeah, this I don't even think they make anymore. If they do, I hope they discontinue making it. It's that bad of a product. I liked it at the beginning because, well, it worked. Not after a month, after we replaced the batteries, and then I replace them all again. But that's not the main concern when it comes to Hygger. Hygger, well, you know I don't really trust heaters. And with Hygger, I've had some real problems, especially with certain products. The Mini Titan, for example. I pulled that off my list of videos that I recommend, simply because I don't recommend it. I put it through all its tests and it worked phenomenally. And worked great, and I was only using it for a couple of weeks. I set my grandson's tank up, the 10-gallon. It was rated for that size of an aquarium. It didn't even last a month. It says, you know, no error showed up. It says it was heating always. It was supposed to be 73 degrees, and in fact, it was 67. Too cold for the types of barbs that my grandson had, and unfortunately his first experience with fish didn't go really well. I've since changed the fish that he has in there, and there's no longer a heater because, well, I don't trust heaters. I'd rather heat the room than the heater itself. Another type of heater I would discourage you from is any of their tube ones. Every one of them has got condensation inside. 2 of them just stopped working. And I hate sticking my hand in the tank and adjusting these because, 1, it's hard enough to read it the best of times. 2, being that you don't want to take it out of the tank to readjust it because pulling it out is going to cause problems. To adjust it, it could explode. So I have 3 of these that I was using outside. I don't trust them. I haven't had one that has overheated. I've just had them stop working. I've had one more heater that with them that it just, well, it was a programmable and it just stopped working. And that was after about 3 months. Now, sorry about that. I do have 2 Hygger heaters that I'm still working with. One is, well, it's got my Barb City tank in, which is, you know, very important to me. That portion of the basement, you see, is unheated. When I say unheated, there are vents, but it stays cool. It stays in the low teens in Celsius or low 60s. So it obviously needs a heater in it, especially with the type of barbs that I have in it. This particular heater works great. It's been working for almost a year. I highly would, well, I wouldn't say I highly recommend it. I recommend it. Another item that I want to really discuss are their air pumps. I've got 2 different ones, well, I've got 3 actually. But the ones I want to talk about are the 10 watt and the 5 watt. The 10 watt I had in my Odessa tank. Well, the diaphragm stopped within probably 3 months, that one of the two diaphragms. I did contact Hygger and they replaced it, which is good. But I've had two more with the diaphragm fail within a year's time. That's a lot. Now, to be totally fair and honest, I do keep some of them outside, which you're not supposed to, but they're covered, right? So it's not like they're getting rained or snowed on. It's just a little bit harder for them to work. They're 5 watts. Well, I have 3 of them going in my fish room right now. They're working excellent. I don't find that you have to turn them up overly strong for them to work, like I did with the 10 watt. 10 watt was extremely powerful, but just didn't last. If I was to get more Hygger pumps or air pumps, I probably would stick with the 5 watt or get a system that's going to do the entire fish room. I like to have individual air pumps just in case the main one should go down, and then what are you left with if you don't have a bunch of small ones kicking around, right? But as a whole, Hygger does take a lot of knocks, but they should stick to the products that they make well, and then just leave the other ones to someone else to make. You can't make every product in the industry. And, not that I'm a wealth of knowledge on business, because I'm not. I'm not in any kind of business at all. I'm just a guy who likes his fish tanks and knows what he likes and what he doesn't like. I hope this helped. I am being honest. Again, I am not slamming Hygger. I'm just telling you the products I would get and the ones I wouldn't get, given the time that I've been doing reviews on them. And I apologize to everyone for not doing this sooner. It wasn't done intentionally. I did have a couple of people ask, could you do updates? And obviously I am. I don't want people to waste their money. That's just me being honest. You may have different opinions. Like I said before, they were sponsoring me, and I could lose the sponsorship over being totally honest, but better to be honest than not, right? We're all here to help each other, and by someone saying, yeah, that's great, it's great, it's great, and then not telling you later that, nah, it turned out not to be so great. Well, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, think about subscribing, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Take care, everyone. See you real soon. Bye for now.